Clips.
Remember, citizens, stay safe, subscribe, hit the bell, keep you out of hell.
How passport information is routed using heat mode.
Remember, citizens, subscribe, hit the bell, and you will not end up in hell. Oh. Alrighty, boob tubes. Another one of Kip's clips. And this sounds far too weird. That's better. Look at new earbuds. Which means I can wear my other hat. I can't wear this hat with those big fucking muffs. And I got a pair of £20 earbuds. And they seem no too shabby. They don't seem to do the job. No doubt they're not as good as the white ones that come from Apple, but hey ho. Now, I'm bored at my tree. And I was going to play Monopoly. Yeah, bored at my tree. Let's play Monopoly. Couldn't believe it. I was like a fucking lyrical genius and I don't even fucking know it. Unappreciated. It's the boy hair of Robbie Burns I've got in me. Hey. Bored at my tree. Let's play online Monopoly. That's how he would have said it, and cut a big fucking hole in a haggis. Then go and fucking shag as many women as he could. Because that... that's probably close to the truth. He was known for being a ladies' man, Robbie Burns. But that was back when you could go, hey, about your ladies, man. And it's like, oh, I don't know. Hey, about your ladies, man. But that's just a vicious rumour. But I'm genuinely no joking. I'm going to play Monopoly. Because it's fun. That's a fact. Anyway. I pulled up my tree, and on a Thursday, you don't get any soaps. And I'm like, right. I'm going to play Monopoly. So, why not share it? Anyway. So here is the Monopoly I'm going to be playing. In the meantime, subscribe, hit that bell, all that stuff. I don't know why that keeps popping up. You could be better doing this. But apparently not. Come on, baby, you're close. There we go. Fitted like a kind of glove. Got a wee bit out. I'm not going to fix that now. Anyway, so it is official. I bored out my tree Monopoly. Online Monopoly, should I say. Somebody said chess is better. Chess is better, right? But see, the good thing about Monopoly is it's such a level of like luck and strategy where it can be fun. You know, I was playing online Risk there for ages, man. Like, no! I wanted to go and take over the world because I lost at Risk. But it was fun. Chess is better. Chess is better. I think Monopoly and chess are different ball games. See, trying to play chess online and have some shits and giggles with people in the chat room, no chance. You need to channel your inner Russian. I heard they're good at chess. I don't know. Are you like to stereotype Russians? Vodka drinking chess players. How can you play chess when you're smashed out your tits and vodka? But apparently they seem to do it. Salute the Russians for that shit. Right, Gas Mask wanted me to touch. Oh, what? Gas Mask, have you got me on the Skypes, mate? I'm sure you have. We spoke. Was it on Zoom or was it on Skype? I can't remember. If you've got me on Skype, send me on the Skypes, mate, and I will go to it. I'll tell you why. Because you can no longer go to people's channels from here. I ain't get time to search channels. Unfortunately, mate, it'd take me ages to find your channel, but I know you said you wanted me to play something. So, Blazing Stars, how you doing, man? Gas Mask in the room, how you doing, buddy? Any questions you want answered, stick them down the new stuff. I'll read all the new stuff once I went down all the names. So Pontiac and even McVicker, Luton Lion. How you doing, Luton Lion? See, I told you, Tommy Robinson and Tommy Robinson and Danny Tomo are official Kips Clips fans. That or they're liars. You figure out what's true. But I think they're gen up fans. I think they love my brand of humour. And Danny Tomo said, if you go on me lightly, I'll share your stuff. It was that getting hit in the head with a Thor hammer. I think it was like, oh, my hair. Richie, how you doing, my man? Love your videos, mate. They're highly, like, you walk away just like, oh, a big smile on your face, you know? It's like, I need to start watching more videos like that on YouTube. I ask Kip, you should play the video I just dropped. You mean on your channel, buddy? Don't know if you've noticed, right, in the live chat, you can't go to people's channels anymore. Example. You used to be able to go right bang on the guy's channel and then you could go and view their videos or see what. No, you can't do that, which is a pain in it. It's a flaw in YouTube. Charlotte Dodd in the evening. A gas mask. Miss Spank. Luton Lion. Hurley, Whirly, Gully. Hurly, whirly, hurly, whirly, hurly, whirly, girly, your world. Love Donovan, man. Oh, Glasgow boy was Donovan. And blazing Roberto Rhymes, Roberto Carlos. How you doing, my man? That's everybody in. The Kip gives out, but he can't take it though. Who you been talking? You've been talking to in my sex life? Huh? I'm talking to some of my ex-girlfriends again. Shocking. It's not that I can't take it, right? If somebody wants to come onto my, I don't know if you're talking. I don't know what you're talking about here particularly. I'm going to stab in the dark. You're talking about the comments on my YouTube channel, right? See if you don't like. I'm not standing up here pretending I'm freedom of speech. My YouTube channel's a dictatorship, dictated to by me, using the rules of YouTube. And if somebody wants to come on and like, there's a difference between shits and giggles and just malicious. I'm going to kill you shit, you know? And I'm not here to debate anything with anybody. I'm not. I love when these people I'll debate anybody. Like, great. I'm not here to debate anybody about anything, anytime. I've got my opinion. You're welcome to yours. And I've got a wee YouTube channel here. I stick shit up in it and do shows, and I say my opinion. Pretty much how it rocks around here. And I also give everybody an opportunity to come on and interact and all that jazz as well. Anybody and everybody, and like within the confines of me, the dictator, thinking it's acceptable. It's all doable. And I accept quite a lot. Not everything. I'm a good dictator. Anyway, so in the evening one and all. Honestly, I'm going to play Monopoly. I'm not here to do anything else. I'm here to play Monopoly. Come down to London. Take you share champagne and strawberries with me. Go to Wimbledon. Watch a wee bit of it. No, man, I'll be honest. I've not been to London much. My limited experience, which wasn't much yet, it wasn't positive, man. It was a bit like Edinburgh. You know, like, although Edinburgh looks beautiful, the bits of London I went to was too built up. But I guarantee there's millions of beautiful bits of London. I just didn't have time to see them all. I digress. Anyway, we're not allowed to travel anywhere. We're all locked down. My passport doesn't allow me by Carlisle. I don't. I don't know. London's a massive place. You can't. I think it's kind of hard to fucking brand whole of London. I know everybody does it, me included, but I'm pretty sure London's a massive. Pretty sure it is. Seen it on a map once. A massive, fucking very diverse place. We each its own wee, what they call them, boroughs, in it. I think it breaks it down different ways. I don't know much about the town planning of London. Sure it's fucking each area's got its own wee fucking character. I'm sure. Whether I find out in my lifetime, who knows? Anyway, let's play some online poker. Online Monopoly. Right, before I do this though, I want to try and do a wee trick. Come on. Oh, wrong button. Wrong button again, come on. Right button. You'll see why I'm doing this. Let me spud. Oh. That around my edges, you know. Because I'm getting a trip of Google answers in, and I can't have any watching that while I'm playing poker, you know what I mean? Playing poker, playing Monopoly. That would be my game face, like. That was Goldberg technology. Right, so create a group, 4 players, all the normal rules. Easy as pie. Clips on the YouTube. Some shameless plug-in while I'm playing Monopoly. Why not? Anybody get any idea what I could put on as like background music or something? I'm sick of listening to Joe Rogan. I listen to him actually. Jimmy Dan. I need to warn yous. I'm a Monopoly champion, 1988. Technically, I won that Christmas, but hey ho, it was as real as it's as real as any other title. Oh, there's Rockefeller. Oh, look, it's an Illuminati conspiracy room. Right. Nice the audio of that no coming up, is it? Oh, right. Sam, got these new earbuds and I haven't quite figured them out yet. Come on. Power on. Connected. Connect. Connect. Right, there we go. Oh, there we go. Got a wee bit of feeling like I wasn't in the room there for a second. Couldn't hear my dice. Here we go. It's a wee bit more realistic now, isn't it? A wee bit of rolling of the dice. Right, you'll see it isn't the official Monopoly, but a kind of rip-off. But principles are the same. I'm the wee smiley face. As she spoke, I'm the wee smiley face up here. And what I'm going to do that. What? Right. I know it's an American flag. It's a fault in the game. You choose the language of English and Asian American flag. Racists. Bigots. Right, oh, right, this is interesting. You get to Vatican and it just goes up for bidding for everybody, right? So I always go in high with this. Shit, I need to get my moose. Right, you want to at least take $1,000 off of somebody if they're going to take it. Because it's an automatic. You can build hotels on it straight away. No other cards linking it. Don't know the Monopoly rules. If you don't know the Monopoly rules, Google it. If you don't like Monopoly, don't watch. Come on, I'm going to go up to 1,000. Is that no staying there? Right, this will be like this for a long time. This isn't going to be any high octane stuff. So he's hanging about. He's best get chatting amongst himself. Alan, send me through a link for that one, mate, and I'll play it. I'm going to play the Alex Jones and Joe Rogan podcast and have a joke and giggle about that while play a bit of Monopoly. Because I'm thinking, unless she's really like Monopoly, this will get hell of a boring, hell of a quick. Oh, it's brilliant not to be attached to a wire. I keep feeling like. What the fuck, people? This is going to go to nobody. This is getting timed out. Somebody's, what do they call it? Filibustering this. Filibustering, I think that's what they call it. See? I don't know exactly what's going on there on the time out and it goes to nobody. Yes! It's up there again then. Brilliant. Right, I make the first bid. Right, he's wanting to take it away from me. I'm going to have to pay £1,000. Booyah! Let's see if any of them are. Right, step up to the plate, come on. Jimmy Dan's up. The two of them are out. One of them's still in. Jimmy Dan, okay. Let's see how far you're willing to go, Jimmy Dan. If you want it, 1,300 at least. He's going higher. Right, squeeze him. I was not really wanting it for that much, but fuck it, I'll take it. And you'll see why. I'm going to have to sell. It's probably a bad idea, actually. Right. 2 steps forward, 1 step back, but I would be a fool not to buy this. Oh, yeah, fuck up. Timed out, man. Why is the time keep timing us out? There's 20 seconds left. Just try and filibuster this so they don't. Surely it's timed out now. I don't know, see if I can get that. Alex Jones, Joe. I don't think I've listened to that. The second one, Alan, are you talking about? The newer one, right? Okay. Right, here we go. Right, one. Okay.
The Cullen hearing.
As long as we want, man.
No.
Here we go. 4, 3, 2,
1.
Yes, Alex Jones. We're live.
Wow, it's good to be back for the second visit.
It's good to be here, man. It's Good to see you.
We've got Trump meeting with Kim Jong-un. We've got the Cohen hearings in Congress. A lot of energy going on.
A lot of things are happening.
Planets are aligned.
We should tell everybody that you and I had, well, first of all, we had a long conversation on the phone, which led to just a lot of talking.
You were
about
driving to
things.
Vegas a few weeks ago. We talked like an hour and a half.
And then we decided to do another podcast. And we cleared the air on the phone. We decided to clear the air more on a podcast. There's a lot of things going on. I told you a long time ago that I would have you back on. And
I'm not getting time to
in the
fucking choose
interest
what I
of
want
being
to do.
completely honest,
It's going up for
I was hesitant to do it, not because I didn't want to talk to you, but because of
confused between the screens.
just the amount of
Clicking on
bullshit
the
that I
wrong
get
one.
from people that get angry that you and I are friends.
I keep
You know,
forgetting
that why
and
give that
putting it
guy
on
a
that
platform?
screen
That's the
instead of
big one.
screen.
Why give that guy a
Make
platform?
no
That's the
sense
big
to
one.
people, but
You know, but
there we go.
you and I have always had a good time together. We've always had fun together. Our only problems have always been when we're not, like if you're talking about
I
me
was sitting
or if
playing
I'm
a few
talking about
games for
you,
like 2-3
not if we're talking
hours.
to each other. It's
was brilliant,
the
man. I was enjoying
distance has been the problem.
It's the telephone.
lack
game.
of
I really think I
communication.
fucked up at the beginning by
The
paying
lack
so
of
much
communication
for that. I
has
was
been the
trying to get
problem.
that. I thought that guy was going to go
The
the full
thing
way,
that
but
people
hey,
are
we'll
upset
live
about
it.
you, the thing that we wanted to talk about, like quick to get it over with, or not quick, but just to get it
Up front.
Up front. That's the best way. To
Or
put
it'll be misrepresented.
it. Yes, is the Sandy Hook stuff.
Yes.
Yeah. So your take on it. Just give me your take on it.
Well, first off, because it's always misrepresented, I believe mass shootings happen and they're real tragedies. And I believe Parkland happened.
And you believe Sandy Hook happened?
Absolutely. And now, just last year,
Focusing on my
the media
monopoly.
came out and said Alex Jones says Parkland didn't happen, and he's sending people to Parkland parents' houses. And there was no video, no audio, it wasn't true.
Back towards their squad car. Floyd falls to the ground once more. Police originally said they noticed Floyd going into medical distress and called an ambulance to the scene.
Well, I think you need the visual with that, mate. I'll play it another day. You know what I'll do? If I can figure out, I'll stick the link in the chat so folk can go and check it out if they want to listen to that. Right, quick, get me by go or 200 quid and I can start buying some stuff. Let me get this Alex Jones shit. I go.
Shooting denial guy. I have been branded as the Sandy Hook guy. I mean, imagine a Final Cut Pro video editing timeline. And you go back almost, it was 7 years ago. I guess it's more than 7 years now. And the internet didn't believe some of the things about Sandy Hook. I started covering it weeks after. My first articles and things are, oh, this will be used for gun control, and I bet the guy's on Prozac and a mental patient, which he was.
Of
course.
But then about a couple weeks into it, my listeners
cheating me.
and others start sending me all these anomalies and things, and later it turned out some of those anomalies weren't accurate. And then I just moved on from it, okay? I mean, I'm not Adam Lanza. I didn't kill those kids. But when I'm on the streets now, people don't know who Adam Lanza is, the guy that killed those kids. They think it's me. They say, I can't believe you're not in prison for what you did to Sandy Hook. All they know is Alex Jones, Sandy Hook, dead kids. So,
Well, I don't think that's. I think the majority of them are angry because the narrative has been that you're sending people to these Sandy Hook families' homes.
exactly. And I'm
that
not, and I never have.
That you're responsible for these people getting harassed because you said on your radio show that it wasn't real.
Yes, there is video and audio of me saying I can see how people don't think it happened, and I can see how people think it's synthetic because there's been staged events before. And then I was realizing, oh,
This is how it works.
a certain percentage of people are schizophrenic,
Exactly.
and then they just think
Issues.
everything's a conspiracy.
Well, this is the thing about conspiracies. It's very attractive to
Deep
people that are
Illuminati.
schizophrenic. Schizophrenic
That's
people
actually
think
from
everything's a
the
fucking
worldwide
conspiracy from top to
support
bottom.
system.
Every single interaction
aka
that people
internet.
have is some sort of a stage event that's trying to take them down or control this or mind control that. That's a big factor in a lot of this conspiracy theory shit is mental illness.
When I started having people come to the office saying that I'm Bo Bridges or that I'm Jeff Bridges or that I am Bill Hicks, and people in restaurants screaming, F you, Bill, we know it's you. It's kind of like Dan Rather, the guy threatening me. What's the signal, Dan? What's the signal? What I've experienced now, the quote fame of being super famous, being the conspiracy guy. I was legitimately questioning things because of Gulf of Tonkin, Northwoods, things that really happened, babies that weren't thrown out of incubators to get us in the Iraq War. But I kind of realized a few years ago that I kind of had my own mild psychosis, in that when you've been lied to by the media and the culture so much over and over again, everything then starts becoming automatically, you're sure it's fake. And then everything you see fits into that. This is probably, again, 4 or 5 years ago, I began to realize, because I was on the receiving end of people pulling up in white vans with guns at my office saying, I know you put a microchip in my head and I'm going to kill you. And so it was kind of like, once I got super famous, it was like, whoa, there's a certain percentage of people that are way off on the spectrum where they believe everything's fake. And then there's people that believe everything they hear is true. I mean, you should be questioning, you should have the right to do it, but it's somewhere in the middle.
Oh.
And so
I managed to get back
this is what I'll say about Sandy Hook. I legitimately questioned it when people brought up anomalies. I then had debates about it on both sides. The internet pushed me to keep covering it. I probably covered it 20 times in the first few years it happened. And then as soon as I questioned it, not being staged, I got attacked so much that I said, screw it, mass shootings happen. I believe it happened. But then media would call me or interview me and say, okay, because they didn't. And he sends people to their houses. He's the worst guy in the world. So I came out and I said, listen, I never sent anybody to the houses, but I apologize if it was taken out of context. People have a right to question, but I'm sorry for the families, and I'm sorry for your hurt, and I get it. And I've experienced crazy people now, big time, just like you have. Please stop saying that I'm saying it didn't happen. Please stop saying I'm sending people to people's houses, because here's what happens. When they put it on every major TV channel, local TV channels, radio, I mean, thousands of articles that then get syndicated. If I said 100,000 articles, that's a low number. The amount of Sandy Hook coverage against me has been so insane and so huge, because it's supposed to be the first domino. The once I'm taken down, then all the dominoes fall.
Well, it's also clickbait. There's also a thing, if you say Alex Jones, Sandy Hook, and you put in a title, a certain amount of people are just going to click on it. Alex Jones is still pushing a Sandy Hook conspiracy theories, one that I saw just 2 days ago.
I've no give up.
Exactly. So this is the point I've gotten to is, here's the key. Then they say more people are showing up in Connecticut. More people are coming to their houses, which they are, because the media is all over the news saying there's a big conspiracy here. Alex Jones says it doesn't happen. And so people then hear it and they think, oh, it's like looking for the Mothman or something. They're all running up there and the media is saying it in my name. And I'm saying, no, I believe it happened years ago. And so then I'm getting the blame and the attacks and the demonization and the threats for what the corporate media is saying over and over again, that I'm saying that it didn't happen.
And the families are getting the threats, and the families are getting the attacks, and the families are getting called crisis actors.
Yes.
And then it gets even worse. Something different?
I looked into this recently.
Oh my God! In hindsight, absolutely. But again, I legitimately didn't think my show was as powerful as it was, so that I wasn't retrospectively, looking at everything I was doing as much as I should. Nobody's perfect. I mean, as you get older, you grow and you learn things. But I just began to realize about 3 years ago that they're making my identity, not being a nationalist, not being a populist, not being a free market guy. They're making my whole identity Sandy Hook.
Which makes it
and I didn't even know they were going to sue me then.
Well, it's just because that's what gets clicks.
Yes, but then before I ever got sued, I said, I believe Sandy Hook happened. That's not my identity. I barely ever covered it. Stop.
Right, but you understand that's not what they're doing. They're not trying to make
that as weakness and made it even worse.
But they're not trying to make your identity. They're not trying to define you or do some sort of a documentary or a biography on your life. They're just finding something that people want to pay attention to. This is one of the problems with news coverage today, is that they find things that people want to pay attention to, and they focus on them out of proportionate.
I agree. And then they say that I'm making money off Sandy Hook when the newspapers and the publishing houses are using me as a way to put out that incendiary, hurtful thing.
Well,
like, I didn't mean it to be hurtful. I didn't mean it to be incendiary. I was legitimately questioning, as the internet was, and I've seen a bunch of other state stuff. And then I say, hey, take it back, don't do it. And they go, no, we're going to commit this hurtful thing that's still free speech, but it's hurtful in your frickin' name. And that's what I'm not saying I'm the victim here. I'm saying stop it, because everything they do about deplatforming me, the biggest frustration is I still have my huge audience and radio stations and Infowars.com and Newswars.com, but reaching new people's very hard. And then now that I've been silenced, the mainstream media can say whatever they want, Joe, about me, and I can't respond. I mean, you can go to YouTube and type in Alex Jones.
Well, this is where
all of it's the negative stuff, and there's one that says white supremacy and Alex Jones. And you click on it, it's a famous British actor and author saying, Alex Jones says kill the families of Parkland parents. And I'd actually have lawyers getting ready to file suit over this. I warned the guy. I sent letters. He didn't take it down. I have to. You can pull up this famous British actor. I forget his name. You can pull up, just type in Alex Jones to YouTube. All the mean stuff's put up on top. It's like the 7th, 8th link, and it says Alex Jones and white supremacy. What to do about it? And he says, Alex Jones and the white supremacists are saying go to the people's houses at Parkland and kill the parents. And we have to take him off the air because he says kill the parents. There's no free speech for killing parents. And I'm like, dude, do not say that. I'm going to get killed. I have never said nobody died at Parkland, and I sure as hell didn't say kill their parents.
Let's take this step by step.
You talk about fake news. They have green lighted making anything you can imagine up about me. And it's like insane. And that's all I'm saying is that at a certain point, it's like Jesus.
I get it. Let's take this step by step.
I'm sorry, I'm ranting.
It's okay. Listen, this is what we want to give you an opportunity to communicate and clear the air and talk, and some of the shit that you and I talked about earlier. There's a bunch of things going on. One,
Alex is annoying.
It's a story that attracts people's attention, right? A story of a guy who's saying that people didn't get killed when they did get killed. And it's horrific for people to look at. It's horrific to people to think about, that their own children would not only get murdered, but then someone would accuse them of being a crisis actor. So then they start pushing that story, and that story becomes something. You were doing this show, and in this show, you're on the air hours and hours a day, and you're ranting about all these various things. Is it fair to say that you weren't really 100% aware of what kind of influence you were having?
Absolutely.
If you did know, you would have phrased things differently and done things differently.
It's even beyond that. I was just younger, and I was covering what other people were saying. I was not the first, the 10th, the 100th, the 10,000th.
You were reading about it on the internet.
It was a firestorm all over the news that people are denying it. And I've got producers going, hey, look at this video.
But isn't that China's the problem with every single national tragedy?
On China.
Anytime something happens, there's a certain amount of people that think that there's a conspiracy. Even when it's just a plane crash. Even when it's just... fill in the blanks. Any sort of national tragedy.
Exactly. And all I'm saying is,
even when it's just snow coming out the air,
it's
fake snow.
I support
even when
people's
it's just
right
a
to
plane.
question, and I understand because there's been so much lying in corporate media and by governments and staged events that are admittedly classified.
Come on, baby. Plus 500.
People see that one thing was staged, and everything else must be staged.
Minus 2 houses. I'm not getting any houses.
I have been on the receiving end of literally thousands of made-up conspiracies, which you laugh at until people in a truck with guns show up.
Yeah.
And so I understand part of this is the complex world we live in, all the information we have more than ever, and a lot of it is all the drugs people are on. And it's just
a lot of it is schizophrenics. This is a big problem. I mean, we were talking about the percentage of human beings.
Half of Brazil has the brainworm that makes you basically psychotic.
Well, it doesn't make you psychotic.
It makes you risk-taking, crazy.
It affects your judgment. This is toxoplasmosis.
It programs you to want to have more cats, smell piss.
Yes. Well, it definitely does that to rats. It actually reprograms rats' brains.
Yay! I want some of that shit, man. Worms in the brain.
Yes, there's a bunch of them, and there's some that probably haven't even been identified.
That's where the whole crazy cat lady thing
I thought it was getting fucking China in the back there, man.
It's one of the reasons why they tell women when they're pregnant to stay the fuck away from cat litter. Don't touch cat litter. Don't go near baby cats. Yes, it can be actually fatal for babies. But what I'm trying to
get at, Middle Ages when they said kill the damn cats.
Well, I'm sure there's a lot of factors there, right?
See, old wives' tales
my
were
bets for
like,
the wee green
you get
man,
demon
you never
possessed by
know
that
you
cat,
get-
and really it's a damn brainworm.
Well, that's probably also why they
And
told
that's
you not to
science
eat
fiction.
pork.
That's a real brainworm programming you. Like you were saying earlier, it's true. I looked at it's true. I didn't even know that.
Yeah.
That the top soccer teams have the highest level of brainworm infestation.
Well, there's a disproportionate amount of people that live in countries with a high toxoplasmosis infection with successful soccer teams. There was some study that was done on that where we had Dr. Robert
Sure, well, like women that have it are more sexually promiscuous.
Yes.
That they just it's recklessness.
Yes, and they think the men are more reckless.
reason
And
you're
that's why
saying
there's a
drones is
disproportionate
drowning me
amount
out,
of
can't you
motorcycle
believe that
victims
shit, man?
that
What you mean?
test positive for toxoplasmosis. This
Jones
is what
drowning
Robert
somebody out,
Sapolsky
no
at
chance.
Stanford University was telling us.
Is there a way to remove
I don't think there
the
is.
brainworm? Yeah.
I don't think there is.
Well, you know, there's like snails that get a brainworm that programs to go to the top of a tree, so birds eat it.
Yeah.
And then it's crapped out, and then the snails eat that, and then go, and it's a food cycle.
Yes.
So don't tell me in classic evolution, and I don't also believe the interpretation by right wingers of the Bible. That's something a supercomputer couldn't do. It programs to drown itself.
Well, this is a matter of complex biology. I mean, I think it's insanely complex. And it's something that scientists
experience. I did it from a good heart. I believed questioning was okay. I was covering other people questioning, but then there's a weird, sick
the deep state
irony in the media that says that.
What is that?
I'm
Yay!
the one that
There we go,
progenerated
baby.
Sandy Hook didn't happen when
Two
I
of those
wasn't.
bad boys
To then in
in the
my
bag.
name popularize it to a level of
know
like
it's nothing to
they
get
put out
excited
more
about,
Sandy
but-
Hook propaganda against me. This is key.
Go ahead.
Then before you invade a major country, I mean, this has been going on
no,
for
I'm
years.
tripping.
Every
I've
day,
got
the
two of those in
news,
the
the
bag.
print. No one died at Sandy Hook.
Tripping
Alex
my
Jones
tits.
says. Alex Jones says go to their houses and hurt them. What the hell's it for? It goes on and on and on and on.
Well, you're thinking this because it's about you.
Hey,
So because
what
it's
I'm gonna
about
do, I'm
you,
gonna
it
go and
becomes
play
a
Joe
primary
Rogan's
point of focus
most
because it's
recent
affecting
one,
your
so that's
life
even
and
a
it's
bit
something
more
you're
palatable than
concentrating on.
Alex
But the
Jones.
volume-
Melting down. It just gets you hyped up. That guy, all hyped up. Listen to this one. This one
was the
annoyed me
type of
earlier.
politician that
In fact, I was listening to this earlier. Listen to this. This is funny. This is
Here we
who
go.
is it?
We're rolling.
Crystal
What's
and
up?
Saga.
Good to see you
Sega.
guys.
Good to see you too. Thanks
It's
for
always
having us.
weird to meet somebody when you watch a lot of their YouTube content or TV content, and then you're like, "You're real," and I could touch your hands.
That's how I feel
You're
about
real,
you.
That's
Yeah.
we all feel about each other that way.
right.
It's very odd.
it is
You know?
very dynamic.
You get to. I love you guys.
Oh,
Thank
thank
you.
you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Well, same. We feel the same.
For sure.
You guys
Joe
are honest.
Rogan loves
I mean, we
everybody.
were talking about that earlier. Like it's so rare that someone is
Yes.
just calling it like it is. Like
Yeah,
what
it's
you
so
see.
weird just
And
calling it like it
obviously
is.
you
You're
guys
just
don't agree on
telling everybody
everything.
how
I-
good Trump
no
is
one does,
and
but,
how
right? We all
Biden
have
is a
varying
vegetable.
opinions, but
So
you
rare.
say what you feel. And
Yeah,
that is so
see what you
valuable today.
feel.
It's so
Just being
unusual.
real,
It's just such a
girlfriend.
weird partisan time.
It
Fucking
is a
blowing
weird
smoke up.
partisan time. Like, it's never
fucking
been harder
idiot
to actually
sassies.
just do that thing. And I can't say, I mean, we don't get it right all the time. But the whole idea was to try to have this conversation between
Also,
kind of the new
smoke
left
blowing
and the new right
contest
that
across
wasn't
the table.
happening anywhere in a way that
You're
was
great.
valuing people's
You're
humanity, that
better.
was trying to deal in the land of the honest, not
Fuck yeah.
cheerleading a team or the other, but actually trying to like be straightforward about what we think and evaluating the facts as we find them.
Let
And,
me guess.
I mean, I have to say, like, you've
You think
somewhat
Trump
created
doesn't
that
get
space
gets a rough
where
time with
that
it
can
from the
happen. So I
MSN?
think we're in part indebted to you.
You know, it's
Stabbing in the dark.
you know,
I don't
it's
have a
crazy.
clue
I
who
think
these
the
people
reason
are.
It works is because we both kind of came up in quasi-traditional background, right? Like
Mate,
Crystal
they're a wee
came
bit
from
quiet, aren't they?
MSNBC world. Like I was a White House correspondent. Like I worked with a lot of these
Yeah, that should
traditional
want to,
reporters,
that
and
should
like, you know,
be a
I would do
wee
Fox
bit
News and
better.
all these other things, and it's always so frustrating when you're on TV. You get 3.5 minutes to talk, right? Like I once did a segment on nationalism, which was two and a half minutes with 3 people on a
Oh,
on
you done a
panel.
segment on
Like, how are you supposed to
nationalism
get
and
your point across?
bipartisan
And so when you're
Joe
when you're
Rogan
doing
supporters.
that and you
Imagine my
see, like,
shock and
you can make an
surprise.
entire career in DC just sticking to the party line, no matter what these people believe, and you just spit out the talkers that they literally send you. They will send you talking points. They
Yeah,
just
we're
say,
bipartisan.
"Oh,
Love Trump."
Yeah, go ahead.
Pull this sucker
Oh,
up.
for
What
sure.
is that like? What are the talking? Like you get a sheet.
Yeah,
We would like
you get an
you to
email.
discuss
Message of the day. Here's the message of the day. Here are your talking points. Top line. Then you go and you turn on Fox News. You can hear it come out of their voice. You turn
Literally
on-
word for word.
Turn on MSNBC. You
Liter-
can hear it word for word from the Biden
Yeah, this is
campaign,
true,
their
what they're
surrogates.
saying. You
It's
hear
all
the
planned,
exact
man.
same
Like, it's all
talking
from-
points
Nobody
coming out
actually
the
thinks for
MSN.
themselves, and that when we
you
came
can
together,
do the same in the
hosting
Truth
a
and
show,
Industrial
that's what
Complex.
set us
With Joe
apart.
Rogan
I
talking
think that's why
points
it's caught on.
on
What's
a lot
the
of his
incentive?
podcasts.
Is it the incentive access?
And a lot of the talking
But, I mean,
heads
for
on
you to
Alex
stay
Jones,
with the party line,
UK
with
Column.
It's a lot
So
safer.
surprised that,
I mean, you know, it's not easy to sort of be out there on your
Remember,
own.
folks,
you
the
know, and I
television
don't wanna
lies
paint
to
just
you, but when
sort of
you
trying to be
watch
honest, as a more noble act than it
podcasts
actually
on
is.
YouTube,
But
that's
it's very
telling you the
safe
truth,
if you're within
okay?
the party structure, if you're saying the things that they want you to say,
Dumbass
there's a
yank.
whole system set
No
up for
offense,
that. There's
America.
a career system set up for that. There's a system of protection. So you're allowed to be dramatically wrong on things like the Iraq War or things like the financial crisis if you're wrong in the approved ways, right? If you're wrong in the non-approved ways, then you can get destroyed, canceled, all of those things. So it's a lot safer to stay within the bounds. And look, like, we're living that in real time right now.
Oh my God.
I mean, it's never been just with how fraught, you know, you have pandemic where people are dying, you have Great Depression, so it's like the Spanish flu and the Great Depression, and then you layer on top of that like all the chaos of the 60s.
Right.
The lines have never been
gonna roll
more
a China
drawn,
roll here.
at least in the time that we've been doing the show as they are right now. And so it's
mortgage
it's
it,
not an easy dynamic to navigate because most of the country is just completely coming apart.
Yeah, and I want to
Remember where my mouse
picking up
is.
here, like, why do you do
So
it?
I can do
If
this.
you do it, you hop on establishment campaign to establishment campaign. Campaign cycle's over, you go work at a think tank, which is all your former buddies from the campaign. Then you go and you do the talking points. You will always have a job. You will never suffer. You'll never, even if nobody likes what you have to say, even if Republican voters or Democratic voters have rejected your message, 6 out of 7 popular vote elections, doesn't matter.
I'm the only one that
because
can
the money
build
is there,
mofos,
and the people
and I
who
like
have
to
the
keep
money
it that way.
have an interest in
That's
propping
my
up
monopoly,
that infrastructure.
and I'm
So when you
protecting
get
it.
your talking points,
That's what
you know
monopolies
that
are
if you
about,
say
by
them,
the
you're
way.
in
Don't
X's
know if you
good
know that.
graces, and then that person has to hire you. They'll throw you a consultant.
Strategy-
They'll throw you this.
strategize.
They'll put your name forward whenever it's time to staff up an administration.
Honestly,
That's
I'm
how
a
the
right
system
bastard.
of the
Oh,
grift in the
somebody got
city
the
actually
game
works,
there.
and that's how they keep
No.
dissenting voices in their own party down. Because how do
go
you
away,
even
man.
get on
Talking
TV,
about-
or how do you even become an authoritative voice in your party? You need
China
credentials.
roll,
right?
China
Everything is
roll.
credentialism.
No.
Well, how do you get those credentials? They control who enters the programs, and they control who
Tomatoes
they push. They
coming-
control
no.
who they push forward, and so that's how they try to keep
I'm
people
not
who
gonna
have
knock down
dissenting
no
opinions out.
no
And
buildings.
it's like we said, it's because
Thank
of
God.
the space that you opened up.
Thank you very
Where
much.
nobody knew that somebody wanted to listen to a guy talk about chimps for 3 hours, and that millions of people would
Did you
do
know that?
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know if you did that.
No.
And like that happened. That created a space where it's like, no. There's a lot of people who are fed up with this shit.
But can I say also, it's not just that like direct career grift trajectory. It's also that we're at this point in the nation's history, which again has never been more obvious than right now, where the stakes feel really existential. And you know, and that's a real thing. I mean, before Trump's election, there was this Flight 93 essay where the argument was, look, if you're a social conservative, if you're not sure that this Trump guy is for you, this election is existential. You have to grab the controls or else our way of life is going to die. Now, I don't agree with that assessment.
to first own-
I think
Oh,
that is
yeah,
hyperbolic. I
man,
think
the
it's over
green
the top.
bad boy
You know,
up
the
there.
conservative way of life is going to
Oh, I'm
continue
going
in
with
their
the
churches
mortgage
and
stuff.
people can do what
Remember
they want to
where
do.
it is.
But
Mortgage,
that was a legitimate
that,
sense
and then buy
among the
that.
Trump base. And of course, we see it with the
was
Democrats
not
on the left
missing out
right
on
now.
that.
And I would say at this moment, it has probably never been more true in terms of that existential nature, as we see, you know, the president calling for potentially military
that's
activation in American
everything
cities,
but,
and we
isn't it?
see him, you know, using tear gas
there
and rubber
any
bullets on peaceful protesters.
properties
So the
up for
fact
sale
that the
still?
stakes
Nope,
feel so
I do not believe.
existential on both sides make it
Now the
very,
games
very
begin.
difficult to engage in a way that is
I'm the only one in a position to
thoughtful,
build.
honest, non-hyperbolic, and
Let's see if any
where
of these
everyone's
mofos
not
are
just
in for the
basically
long
mad
haul.
at you all the time.
Or they're going to be easily
How did you guys
manipulated
start
to
your
get
show?
money
Well,
out.
I mean, it's a crazy story. So Crystal was co-hosting previously, and this was before kind of the show was on YouTube. And I think fair to say it was more like standard.
Yeah, it was
left,
sort of
right.
more of a standard left-right kind of dynamic. Our
What year are we
politics
talking?
didn't have. This was just, you know, when
2
did
years,
What?
2 years
Fuck
ago.
me.
So I
Yeah.
started on the. I think I
Tight
took on the
shade and all
show
that.
Last
June-
year.
Yeah, about
A year
exactly
ago.
a year ago.
Yeah. So before that, for about a year before that,
would be
I'd been co-hosting with another guy,
Absolutely
great guy,
the
Buck
worst
Sexton,
Monopoly
and
player in
we
the
had
world.
sort
If
of
you
a more
sold a
standard
card
left-right
right now that
dynamic.
allowed
Sounds like
anybody with a big pack of cash to
Crystal,
get
Crystal
in.
Ball and Buck Sexton.
Yeah. for
Imagine
real.
that. Yeah.
Kind of
It's just
hilarious.
mad.
Anyway,
because I'm Monopoly World Champion
But
in
I used to
1988.
fill in for
remember?
Buck kind
Right.
of when he was gone, and Crystal and I we found like we would click on certain issues, right? Like especially on these are the things you see on the show, like on economics, on the indictment of the economic system, about
Right.
even on Trump. Like I'm not a Trump toady, right? Like I'm
Yes.
not.
Thank you
If
very
they give me the
much.
talking points, like I'm not,
Right,
if I say
Neil,
something,
until
if
I
I
get
think
round the
something's
board
good, I'll say
again.
it's good, and if I think something is bad, then it's bad, and it gets me into trouble. It
All
gets
works out
Crystal
in the
into
end.
trouble, too.
Karma. Karma's a
define
bit.
trouble.
Sometimes
I
you
mean,
need
you know,
been it for
people
the
are
long
pissed off at
haul,
what you
but
say. They'll
the
tweet
right
like, "How
outcome.
dare you?"
Do you read that stuff?
Yeah, I read it.
That's the problem.
He reads it more
Outcome.
than
I
I
read
do.
every single one. I probably shouldn't.
I would read more of it. It's not that I am like smarter to not read. I just am like have kids. And where I live doesn't have
the real
broadband
difference.
internet. That actually helps a lot.
Oh,
we have
that's
like
great.
satellite internet, and it sucks
Oh,
really
wow.
hard. It's actually great. So yeah,
That's really
I recommend
good.
it. Yeah,
And
it's
it
good for the
also
kids too.
Helps if you're trying to upload something. It's virtually impossible.
Yeah, no, you're fucked. You have to drive to the Starbucks, which is 20 minutes away.
So if you're thinking about uploading something really
Yeah, right.
ridiculous, on the way it cancels out, it times out. And you're like, it's
you
probably
gotta
for the best.
You gotta really have some time to like
Yeah.
think it over before you get
Yes.
there. So when Buck wanted to focus on his radio show, and one of the expectations of The Hill, which is the
Right.
corporate news brand that sponsors us, is that this would be a left-right show. But I thought, let's do a left-right show in a way
See,
that no one has done before.
I can be
where
ruthless here, go
normally
round the board,
consensus, the sort of
pick up my
left-right
wee piles of
consensus is
cash,
like this: we're all moderate,
build a
we're
hotel
all
in my hang.
corporatists, we believe in unity,
Just
we
sit
believe
back.
in like low taxes, we believe in free
No.
trade deals. That's
In it for
the
the
in
long haul.
wars and those sorts of things. That's the sort of standard bipartisan consensus that you're allowed to have. So we thought, what if we did it in a different left-right dynamic where we actually have more overlap on some of these economic issues, and the dissent is around more of the cultural issues and what does that look like? Because that's actually more representative of where the two parties are headed.
Right.
If you look at where young people are, it's also more representative of where more Americans are. I mean, Sagar says, and I think this is true, there's very little representation,
deals
and
here.
has been historically
Behind
at
my
least, for
back.
people who are like economically more left
Thank God it timed
and
it.
culturally more right. All of the elite conversation is this very like economically liberal, but on social cultural issues, economically more conservative, like balance the budget and low taxes and stuff, but on social cultural issues more liberal is more the elite conversation.
In
that
the
is
Reds,
commonly
folks, in
happening
the
on cable news, even though
Reds.
that's reflective of like teeny tiny portion
have
of the
kids.
system of America.
That's 10% of the population, and they all live in like New York City, LA, San Francisco. It's like
I just
America.
noticed somebody
is,
sold him
I would
a-
say pretty culturally
What
right,
idiot
not like
sold him
super
a
right, but like
fucking-
center right. And economically, you could say cultural left. I mean, little
This
bit
is exactly
left.
what I was
Depends
just
on how
saying.
you
You'd be an
define those
absolute
things. But
fool
one of the, I mean,
to
the
sell some of your
ethos of the
cards
show,
to
Crystal
somebody
actually said
that
this, I
would
think,
just
to the
create
comments,
him
was,
a
what if we
monopoly
hate
around
each
a
other
pure full
less
corner of the
and
board
the elites more?
with the cash to build on it.
That's what
It's a
the
little
show is.
Oh, my
simplistic,
Lord.
but that's
No,
kind of how we boil it down.
Might have a
And I-
bit kid
Did you
bastard
guys have
to
a
be paying more
sorry to interrupt.
attention.
Did you guys
No,
have
no.
a conversation before you started working together?
Yeah.
Yeah, we
Yeah,
talked
we
a
Like
lot
did.
sit down.
How
Like,
to
Except
how do you
get
feel
the
about
game
this? How do you
going.
feel about that?
Yeah, I mean,
Just hoping it
because he'd
takes-
filled
it
in
doesn't take me
before,
out.
and when you have guests on, when you work with someone, especially in a media space, you get a vibe right away, and you can tell right away. Number one, is this person like ready to hold the chair, ready to do this thing? Do they have the sort of fully formed, coherent ideas or things they want to explore that's going to make sense? So just on that like surface level, is that going to work? But you also get a real vibe for
Wait till I
not
get a
even
hotel on it.
where are you ideologically, but are you willing to be honest when your team is fucking up? And look, everyone looks at cable news, even if you are, a kind of standard down the line Democrat or a standard Trump Republican, no one believes that these people are really shooting straight with them. Everyone sees the partisan cheerleading that is going on in the normal cable news networks.
I
And
mean,
so
Lee
it
Camp
was
can
very
get- his
easy
comedy's
to
quite
see
funny.
right
I don't mind Lee
away
Camp at all,
that
man.
Sagar was
Some
a
of his
person
greatest
who
fan. I
was
don't go out my
willing
way to watch him.
to be honest where his own team was
Watched him in
concerned. And
wee
to me,
bits
that
and
was kind of
bobs,
the
I
most
suppose.
important piece.
Yeah, I mean, and same, right? Like, which is that it's when you're talking to somebody or on cable or just even in an argument, it's just standard talking about, and you can catch them in one of those like hip like whataboutisms. It's
Yeah.
just so frustrating. It's just, and it's so unproductive. And
sometimes
that's this
think-
thing I hated the most
sometimes-
about my time when I was in the White House
play
press
together
corps,
and
it was very much
conspire
just
against you.
you could predict every single question
And it was
before
just
the
the
briefing
silliest.
began. Every single one. And it just used to drive me nuts because you'd see these people and they care a lot more about getting cable news contracts and all that than they ever do, like actually asking legitimate or like real questions about what you think of this program or whatever. It's all, just standard issue crap. And like it was like every single day. And with
Not feeling
Crystal,
so
it was
confident now.
like
See,
somebody
before
was
they
willing to
started
call
trading,
out
not the fucking
problems on
monopolies
their
amongst
side.
themselves.
And I was willing to do the same thing. I kind of have always been like
that's
that.
not
And
the way.
that's where we were like, we have something here. And,
I've known people to play
and then
Monopoly
it just started to
in
take
the
off.
past.
I mean, it was like we just put it out into the
Stay in
ether.
there so they've
And all of a sudden, it just
keep
started
the little money I've got.
catching. It just
So
started
what was
catching on.
you'll actually relate
you'll
to
love
this.
this.
The first thing that really caught was we did an interview with Andrew Yang.
Yep.
And I've known Andrew for a long time.
Love that guy.
And great guy. Just, trying to be honest, trying to like really figure things out. And his answer may not always be my answer, but I feel like he's really trying to figure it out and come to a good place and see the best in people also.
Yes.
And so we did this long form interview with him where, there was nothing crazy about it. We just actually asked him policy focused substantive questions for, 30 minutes.
Yes, I think it was like 30 minutes.
And it blew up.
People
loved it. Yeah. And we're like, whoa, this is, and I'm talking, before that we were getting like 100 views on video.
Yeah.
I'm serious.
I went
like,
and I looked
we put
at
it on
some of the
YouTube.
stats.
It was like 5, we were like, oh my God, we got 1,000 views on that one, right? And then we post this Andrew Yang video and it's just like, blows up. And we thought, wow, this is really, really interesting.
Well, it was because of the questions we asked. It was like you were asking them about not just UBI, which is about like Medicare for all and all that. And I was asking him about drug legalization. I asked him about the China trade deal and about intellectual property and tariffs. And people loved that we just asked that. We were willing to ask him.
Yeah.
So far.
Yeah, and then it wasn't, and that they weren't stupid. That's the thing too. At that point in his campaign, from everybody basically.
I think my
except
wee
you,
guy
he
should
was
just
getting
wipe that
these really
smile right off his
stupid
face.
questions about like, is it just white nationalists who are supporting
Smile
you?
when you're getting
And I
Really?
really
He's getting
surface.
that?
Some determination.
That was the whole thing.
A bunch of white nationalists picked up
God.
Yang as like a meme thing.
started
Like they were
on
like,
that.
I don't even really remember what the context was,
Right,
but
sick.
he obviously disavowed it. But people were picking it up, like, why are all these white nationalists
Yeah, it's
supporting? It's like they're
decent
obviously
319.
trolling, dude. Like that's what the
Well,
whole thing is
Isn't that
about.
crazy though that you
Yes.
can get in
Mortgage
trouble for the
stuff.
people that like you? Like you can't if
We
you're a
know.
public
Yes.
figure.
Yeah.
You have no control over that. Like how could he know that there's white nationalists that even have him on the radar?
But it's not even that. Like you see this with any candidate who comes from outside the sort of established channels. You see the same thing with Tulsi. You saw the same thing with Bernie. You saw the same thing in some ways with Trump. Is like they use who is supporting you. They find like the worst person that's
Right.
supporting you,
Yeah.
and then they use that to dismiss the whole thing.
Right.
Like that way they don't have to engage with your arguments or your policy ideas or who you are, what you're doing as a person. It's like this person associated with you is bad, ergo you are bad, ergo we don't have to deal with that at all.
I think some of that has to do with this quality of posting things on social media, like this 140 character, now 280 character quality of Twitter, where you're just kind of condensing things and it's this reductionist view of stuff, and then just put it out there. Oh, he's racist. Oh, he's sexist. Oh, he's supported by white nationalists. Oh, and then boom, that's the narrative. Stick with it. There's no nuance. Run.
And think about that, right? The just like the sheer amount of arrogance it takes to just sum up somebody in like 280 characters and just be like, this person is a racist.
I think
they don't even acknowledge do they know what it means to call somebody that, right?
I don't think it's a real statement. It's just like you're saying it, right?
Well,
but it's
getting
one
really
person talking to the ether, right? There's no one saying, like, says who. So Andrew Yang is not a fucking white nationalist. Like, what are you talking about, man? Like, you need someone in front of you going, what the fuck are you talking about? Like, he knows those guys are supporting him, and so he's going out of his way to court them? Is that what you're saying?
Right.
It's stupid, but no one gets to say that to them, so they get to put those. Tweeting is one of the worst ways to get out information, right? It's one of the worst ways to have a dialogue, because especially when you're defining something or someone. And I feel the same way about occasionally about really self-righteous blogs. When they write an evil blog about someone, that person doesn't get a chance to respond.
Right.
You're just sort of saying it out there, your perception of that person, and you can make all these horrible distortions, whether it's about Andrew Yang or Tulsi Gabbard or whoever.
Yeah.
You
One or
can
two
make these
fuck-ups
horrible
away from
distortions, and then someone reads it, and you're putting out this distorted, unchallenged perception of someone. Whereas if you were having a conversation with either them or someone who has a more rational point of view, they could say, well, that's not really true because she actually said this, and this is what she meant, and this is the greater context of the conversation.
Right. We're constantly trying to draw lines around like who are the good people and who are the bad people, and like where's that bright line and which side of the line are you on, and you're not allowed to associate with the people on the bad line.
Yeah.
And I think like social media obviously exacerbates all of that and makes it a million times worse, no doubt about it, because it's also simplistic, it's also like sensationalist driven, it's all like keys into your sort of like basic instincts and your adrenaline and your dopamine response and all of that. But there's also been a sort of strategy from, the political and media elites in the country where if you pit people against each other, and this is something Matt Taibbi, who's, one of the people we had, who's a great guy. You had him on here. He's fantastic.
He's amazing.
Wrote this great book, Hate Inc. And his thesis is essentially that once the Cold War ended and we didn't have Russia to be the bad guy, that the new ratings innovation was to make each other the bad guys. And what does that do? First of all, it's great for ratings because you got an easy villain. On Fox, it's people like me. On MSNBC, it's people like Saagar, right? It's easy villains, easy ratings. You can find stories all day long that support that narrative.
But usually you're sitting with a wee bit of bag of cash because you haven't managed to spend it on properties.
But accountability from the people that are in power. Because if, people who are out there in the country, if the voters are the problem, if they are bad, if they are evil, if they are deplorable, then it's not the fault of the people in power that things are going wrong. It's not their fault that these terrible, evil, sexist, racist, horrible people voted the wrong way. It's those people's fault. And so it saves them from ever having to do any self-reflection or make any adjustments in what they're doing. And I think it's a big part of why we are where we are.
Yeah, I mean, that's just such a huge part of the show, which is just trying to draw compassion for people, trying to understand what motivates 65 million, I don't know what the number is, I think it's 60-something million, to pull the lever for Trump. What happened there, right? And that's just something that the media has not spent any introspection trying to understand what would compel a person to do that. What would compel a person to vote for Bernie Sanders? I mean, they're like, oh, Bernie bros, it's all white. I mean, if you look at the data, which we talked about on our show constantly, it's just absolutely false.
Never say never.
And it's in that way that you can begin to understand and actually even respond. Right, and that's actually the thing I love the most about the show is sometimes I have friends, like on the right, and they'll say something about the left, like the left thinks this. I'm like, no, man, like I have a left co-host, and like that's not what she says. Her response is X, Y, Z. I'm sure the same thing happens with Crystal, which is that, as you said, with Twitter, condensing our rhetoric and our politics to 280 characters and trying to condense hyper complex and multifaceted ideas and multifaceted discussions and deep conversations down to that level helps nobody. And actually, all it does is help split people apart for a pretty explicit reason, which is that part of the things that we talk about on the show is the reason why the elites, the cultural elites, right and left, kind of want everybody split. It's because they don't want people to have the uncomfortable conversation around how the economy is structured. They don't. Every day that we talk, we have some cultural debate in the country is every day that we're not talking about how many million people in this country are unemployed right now, about the political choice. The political choice is something I talk a lot on the show about, to allow people to be forced off their payroll and to go on to unemployment, to allow businesses to fail, to allow people to suffer when we have the explicit choice of allowing them to keep their payroll. I mean, this is something we've been focused on so much because the implications of that, when you're also making the explicit choice in order to, cap the amount of money that goes to a small business program, when you're doing, big checks in order to corporations or to the airlines, which are firing people anyway, despite the fact that they got like $50 billion. You don't have a conversation about that. That they will never want to have that one because they want people to hate each other more.
Yeah.
I think there's something about using social media that also facilitates mental illness, and this is what I mean. Like we all have varying degrees of health, right? Some days you run down, some days you feel great, some days you're coming down with a cold, some days you're in bed.
Nice some sound. False economy, cheap pods, I think that, or there's just something technical issue. Need to figure out how they work. I think that's one thing I keep doing wrong. Do it the old-fashioned way. No, I can remember having these sort of issues before with Bluetooth headsets. Anyway, I'm going to be out
It's
of
this like
this.
Kardashian type coverage.
She checks all the diversity boxes.
Soon.
Yeah, I was talking about the mayor of Chicago when I was
I'm
there.
gonna have
I was
a
like,
munch
she's
and get
woman,
some of
she's
it.
black, and she's gay. If
Get
she
myself
just
sorted
was
for
a
tomorrow.
transgender and a Muslim, she would have all of the Infinity Stones, and she'd be the wokest person that ever existed. Her dreadlocks would glow and whoa. Like, she's got every box covered. Have you seen a video where she's talking about?
We interviewed her. We've interviewed her.
We did, yeah.
Lori
Yes.
Lightfoot. She's been on the show.
There's a video where she's talking about the New World Order. There's this video that's being passed around in conspiracy theory Twitter. Yeah,
Enlighten me.
I have not seen this.
do you know the video, Jamie? Jamie can find the video.
Yeah.
I think Eddie Bravo put it on his Twitter page, which says a lot, or his Instagram page. But is essentially she was talking about picking leaders that will comply with the New World Order. I don't know what the context of what she was saying, but then it got passed around like, look, she's a New World Order shill.
Oh, God.
Like all the
A
tinfoil.
New
That's all
World
the
Order
crazy
shill?
people. Yeah.
That's all these
New World Order shills.
all these Illuminati
you don't
people
know?
need.
The 5G.
Yeah.
Cover your head. Fucking 5G, man. It's everywhere. Be careful.
Right.
Yeah. She's a a very popular politician for a lot of good reasons, but it's also one of those things where when someone says something like New World Order, you say just that phrase alone, like that's a hot button phrase for all the conspiracy people.
Right. Well, and when you have
they love her in Chicago, though.
When you have no one who's trusted in the media, and when you have this sort of general societal breakdown in general, then that stuff flourishes more than it would in normal times.
But there's all these echo chambers of
For
conspiracy
obvious
theorists and left-wing people,
Illuminati attacks and all
pundits,
that.
right-wing people.
Subscribe,
These
hit the
echo
bell.
chambers are some of the most
Otherwise, you're gonna
disturbing
rot in
parts of interaction with
Tune
people
in tomorrow
online,
for See-Through
because
the
you can
Viewpoint
always find someone that
Friday.
agrees with you.
Anybody and everybody can
if you're
join.
not a person
for
that
a
likes to
natter
challenge your
tomorrow.
thoughts and ideas, you
Alrighty,
can just
folks.
bounce those fucking things
Thanks
around
for
with all these
tuning
other
in.
knuckleheads that believe the same shit
Enjoy
you
the rest
do.
of your night.
Definitely.
Found
help.
it?
I found the clip,
Catchies.
but I just so
Yeah.
you know it's been fact checked to be out of context.
Of course it's out of context.
Shockingly.
Of course. I just want to know what the hell she's saying.
Because
Here.
otherwise